And so that is the importance of home points, and that's what you want to do with conquest points. Now, back to the quest section that I was telling you about before, right? You want to go into the objective list, and in tutorial, and in basics, you're going to finish everything in here. Eventually, you're going to get up to a quest called Call Forth an Alter Ego, or what are known as trusts. So eventually what they did was they tried to make the game more solo friendly, right? And in order to make the game more solo friendly, they had to introduce a way for you to actually level up and do a lot of these lower level things that are not max level anymore without the need of having to have people in your party, because the game is so top heavy. It has so many people that are, and what top heavy means is that the majority of the community is max level. So what these guys are, trusts or alter egos, are NPCs throughout the game, throughout the game's beautiful life. NPCs from all stories, from left to right, every story you could think of, every add-on you can think of, every tiny storyline you can think of, and you can summon these various heroes that people have played with throughout the years and years and years of the game being alive, as the game has been alive for more than 15 years now, and you can have these guys fight alongside you. Now, you'll get kind of a general list of everything, or rather, you'll get like a small, like 6 list, I believe, when you finish through all your quests. But you're going to want to grab these, which is why it's very important for you to go into your quest menu, go into objective list, and finish out everything in your basic tutorial, right? You're gonna do everything here. This is going to explain pretty much most of the basic things that you have to do, and it's going to give you access to alter egos. And then once you finish the tutorials and you start to unlock everything you see here in my quest menu, you're gonna kind of want to go through these things and check everything out and take quests as you see fit. You can have up to 30 quests at any given time, right? Which is the beauty of these quests. You can take recurring quests which continue once you finish the quest once, you don't have to take it again, it just continues. So like if you're training in an area, you can go into combat region, right? So once you finish through the tutorial and basics and you unlock the rest of everything, in combat region you're gonna have like original areas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So for example, if I go into East Ranfori, which I believe is this way, or that could be west, I don't remember, you can click on that and say I want that quest to be in my thing. Or if you finish the kind of beginner area and you go into the Valkurm Dunes, which is the second area you're going to be into, which I showed you guys in my previous video of where to fight things at what level. You can click this, say you want that quest, which I believe I already have in my current quests, and you'll always have it there. You can take it out or put it back, or however you want, and when you click on it, it's going to give me some sparks and some extra experience just for killing 10 monsters in that area. So this whole quest section for the records of eminence is very important into like just you getting extra stuff in the game. So at this point, we've gone over trusts, and what they've done, quests, the quest section, why it's good, what to do first. We've gone over conquest points, what I think you should get first, and what are always the first things I get, and I've probably made over 12 characters in the past, like, I don't know how many years. Considering I've been playing this on and off since, I want to say 2006. So it's been kind of a long journey for me, kind of a long journey of pretty much not doing much, because now that I got to the max level, I'm still not, I guess, endgame ready, and I have trouble playing the game because I don't have anybody to really play with, so I end up getting bored pretty quick since none of my friends really play the game. So we went over home points. We're going to now go over some survival guides and ground tomes and kind of show you guys what those are and why they're important. And we'll brush over some other things. So we'll go out into the world, and now I'm going to summon some trust so you guys can see what the fuck it is I'm talking about. I apologize for some of my vulgar language. I'm not trying to make it that way. I am trying to go through this video and not make it an hour long like my other video. So once you get out here, you'll have, once you finish your first quest for your alter ego, after you unlock alter egos and you trade the cipher to the correct person and you unlock your first trust, right? My first trust, I believe, was vulnerable. It was either vulnerable or melee alipo. Let's check. In my quests, my first one was tutorials, basics. My first quest, was vulnerable. Now, for me, vulnerable is a tank. I'm not sure what your first trust will be, but if you start here in Sandoria, I can tell you that it's going to be vulnerable. He is a tank. So you'll summon your first trust, and when you first get the trusts, you'll only be able to summon 3. You will not be able to summon a full party of trusts. In order to make that better, you have to continue unlocking things in the Rhapsody of Vana'diel's add-on, which is why it's important to do the Rhapsody of Vana'diel missions, which is why I also say you should unlock your sub-job through the Rhapsody of Vana'diel missions. Had I known that when I started playing this character, I would have done it that way, instead of doing it the traditional way of doing the quest in Selbina and getting all the items I did. I basically unlocked my sub-job once I hit level 50 on, I think it was Warrior. Let me see, is my Warrior even level 50? I might be talking out of my ass. Let's see. Yeah, my Warrior's 53. So, once my Warrior hit 50, that's when I went to go do the sub-job quest, because I didn't want to do it earlier than that, because that sub-job quest, you have to get what is called a magic skull. Excuse me. And in that area, to grab the magic skull, it's a pretty higher level area than like your traditional kind of low level thing, and you have these skeletons which aggro on sight, so you don't want to just run in there and I'm gonna get it, and there's not enough of a player base at like the lower level areas like there was in the past, where I could just shout for somebody or look for somebody in the area that's higher level and say, hey, can you grab this magic skull for me? So rather than kind of killing yourself like I did and getting all the way to 50, as you progress slowly through the game, and you're going to want to do the Rhapsody of Vana'diel missions anyways, because those are going to be important in getting some key items which are going to further increase the amount of experience you get. As you continue to get experience, as you continue to advance in the Rhapsody of Vana'diel missions, you're going to get a key item known as a Rhapsody. The Rhapsody in white and azure, there's a whole bunch of them. every time you get them, it gives you like a boost in experience points, combat points, magic skill points. So it makes leveling your magic skill faster, makes leveling your combat skills faster. And in this game, you have to level combat skills. If I'm a person that's using a staff or a club, or I'm evading or I'm parrying, you know, you're going to need to level those things up. And the lower they are, the less accuracy they're going to have, and the harder you're not going to hit. You're just not going to hit very hard if you don't have those things. Right? So here to the right, when you get out here in West Ronfari, you're gonna have a field menu, right? Or a grounds tome. Sometimes they're called grounds tomes, sometimes they're called field manuals. Now, the grounds tomes are not going to pop, the field manuals are not going to pop up on your map. You're going to see a book on my map right now, but that is what is called a survival guide. The survival guides are going to be another source of you teleporting throughout the world. So you want to make sure you get your home points, and you want to make sure you get your survival guides. Wherever you see a survival guide, go grab it. I don't care if there's a high level enemy, run around it, grab it. Same thing with home points. Anytime you see a home point or a survival guide, grab it. It is going to make your life 1,000 times easier, trust me. And even with those, traveling can still take a very long time. So you'll go into the field manual, and as I said in like my other video, there are like pages you could get. So what these pages are individual trainings that you can get, but not only individual trainings. You'll get points as you continue to do these individual trainings or elite trainings, which I believe elite trainings were more fitted towards a party. So if you had like a party of people, you could do like a really harder thing or whatever. But being as you're probably going to be by yourself, or maybe in a 2 or 3 man group, you and each one of your friends, or you just on your own, you're going to want to grab an individual training. I already said like what pages are good where, but for the fuck of it, we're going to grab page 1 here, right? Page 1, the information on this page instructs you to defeat the following 6 members of the worm family. Target level range 1 to 6. Training area West Ronfari. Bring it on. Hit yes. Once it asks you to set up the regime to automatically repeat upon completion, because that was a new thing added in the game long ago, probably in around 2010, I believe, is when they added that for the regimes to kind of be automatic. It wasn't like that before. You had to come and take the page every time you wanted to do it. So once you do this enough, you'll get these points, right, that you can use on field support, right? This is also important while you're leveling normally. You're going to get things like you can cast re-raise on yourself. So I'm going to use this to cast re-raise on myself. So it's going to use my tabs, right? And then your tabs, it also uses your tabs when you teleport from place to place, which is why it's important to grab these individual trainings while you level. You want to get those tabs up so that when you're teleporting later, you can use your tabs instead of using Gil to teleport from place to place, right? So now I have re-raise. So let's say I want regen or refresh and protect. You can get all of these things. You can get field recipes, like you can get lots of stuff. As you see there, I have 8,377 tabs, and it excuse me, it really doesn't take much effort. That when you're out in the world and you see a grounds tome or you see a field manual, you run up to it and you check what it has for you. Now I'm on my white mage now, right? So I'm gonna want refresh because I want MP if I'm gonna be using MP, right? And you can use your little points on all these small little types of things that are just going to help you throughout the game. quests as well as everything else. And then you can just go kill stuff. So now you have this badass trust, which is one of or alter ego. You have one of these badass characters that is in the storyline that's here to aid you in your fighting of stuff. And now you can just go out and, you know, punch a rabbit in the face with a staff, you know what I mean? And since he's a tank, he's going to provoke that. Because he's high enough to provoke that. So as you level up, your trusts are also going to gain access to higher level skills and things of that nature. So next on our list of things to talk about is skill chains, or rather weapon skills. We'll go over weapon skills first. So likely you may end up playing a melee, but even if you don't play a melee, you're going to get access to what are called weapon skills. Every weapon that can melee has weapon skills. Every weapon that can range has weapon skills. In order to unlock these weapon skills, you have to get your combat level with that what's the word I'm looking for? With that weapon high enough to unlock that weapon skill. As you can see here, when you cap out that combat skill, it'll pop up as blue. And there's a cap for every level as you level up. So you'll notice that once you go into your combat skills or your magic skills, depending on what you're leveling, which I don't think any of my magic skills, well, elemental is capped, but I haven't really done much on my white mage, right? But you can see here my staff is not really that great. Like my club is much better. I don't think I have a club to even show off to you guys, do I? Oh, I do. Okay. So we'll put on this club. So you'll target yourself. You'll go into abilities. You'll go into weapon skills, right? And here you are, you have weapon skills. Each weapon skill has its own property. These properties are going to contribute to what are known as skill chains. And these skill chains have their own individual damage. So it contributes to the damage you already do in the game. Now, you probably won't notice these right away. You'll probably start to notice them later on in the game when you hit around the 50s and you accidentally skill chain with your trusts. And this will happen. You may even get it sooner because there are different levels of skill chains. There are level 1 skill chains, which are 2 properties put together. There's level 2 skill chains, which I believe are 3 properties put together. And then there's level 3 skill chains, which are 4 properties put together. So the important ones are going to be the level 2 and the level 3 skill chains later on in the game. The level 3 are going to be light and darkness. And certain monsters later on in the game are going to have a certain affinity towards light or dark, meaning you're going to want to use either light or dark to something that's weak to light or dark. Now there is a level 4 skill chain, but this is only with one of the ultimate weapons in the game called the Aeonics, right? And when you get that weapon, it gives you access to a skill that allows your light or dark to double. And your light becoming radiance, and I believe the darkness becoming umbra, and which just does a lot of damage in general. So you're going to want to use skill chains to increase the amount of damage you do, and it's going to feel good when you start to notice that you're skill chaining. And you'll notice that some of your trusts want to close skill chains while other of your trusts want to open them. And so that's why I say you're really not going to notice it right away, because sometimes you'll throw out a skill chain, but your trust is trying to open a skill chain, so they might do the same thing as you. So we can see here this deals light elemental, but the skill chain attribute is impaction, right? And if we go down to brain shaker, this stuns the target, but the skill chain attribute is reverberation, right? Starlight doesn't have a skill chain attribute, neither does Moonlight, because these things kind of, this one restores MP, this one gives MP for party members, things like that. This one has two skill chain properties, induration and reverberation. Then the next one has denotation and impaction. The next one has impaction. The next one has fusion. So you're going to kind of want to get a feel for them and figure out which ones do what and how to make level 1 skill chains, and then figure out how to make level 2 skill chains. Once you can kind of figure out the 1 and 2, the 3 will become easy for you. I still haven't myself gotten to a point where I kind of skill chain nicely. I do know what are some decent skill chains that can open a light skill chain or open a dark skill chain, but we're not really going to go into that right now. Okay? But for what you need to know is skill chains are important. Now, the reason skill chains are also important is, as a magic user, you want to get something called a magic burst. For a small window of about, like, I think, out of 10-15 seconds, don't quote me on that, look it up. I'm not 100% sure. As I said, I have not done any endgame content. I have not done any group content. Well, not really anything besides leveling, and this was when leveling was still a party thing. Magic bursts happen after a level 1 skill chain, a level 2 skill chain, or a level 3 skill chain. Now, the magic burst affinity is going to be affected by what type of skill chain you get. So like certain, because everything like reverberation, infraction, denotation, fusion, all of that stuff has different properties to them, and those properties are based on what your magic burst can do. So magic burst is basically a skill chain, I guess you could say, for a magic user or for a magic ability, if that makes sense. And that's going to play into end game setups and kind of getting towards end game. So again, if you're a magic user, if you're a red mage or you're a black mage, none, this character I'm missing only one job. Like, I have pretty much everything, so we'll go into the list. If you're a red mage, if you're a black mage, if you're a white mage, even if you're a dark knight does get access to some magic abilities. If you're a scholar, if you're a blue mage, excuse me, while you're leveling with your trust, sometimes you'll see they skill chain, and then you'll have, like, once you see the skill chain pop up in your window of text, that's your time to magic burst. That's your time. Okay, they did this kind of skill chain. This is where you looking up the skill chain chart and figuring out what the level 1 skill chains are and what properties they have make a big play, because I believe, for example, a fusion skill chain is light and fire. So if I'm a white mage and I want to holy and I got a fusion skill chain, I can fire, or I can fire off a holy, or I can fire off a fire if I'm sub black mage, so that I can do extra damage. So you'll do the damage of fire and you'll do the damage of holy for that skill chain, but you'll also do an extra damage called magic burst. And that, again, that's going to be important towards playing in magic setups. So you'll have one or two people closing and opening skill chains for you so that you can kind of set up into like big magic bursts. So now that we're kind of done with that and you guys have a little sort of idea of what skill chains are, what weapon skills are, and what magic bursts are, let's go on to the final thing on my list, which is levels, level syncing, making parties, and party commands. Now, if you're getting into the game, likely you're kind of going to want to drag another person in with you. You're going to want to say, hey friend, yo, I never played this game. I think you might like it. You probably played it in the past. You should play with me, or however you guys go about that. So if you have two people and you want to play with one another, you can make party with the party commands, and I'm going to put them on my screen now so you can kind of see what the party commands are supposed to look like. It'll be /pmd add Tom, for example, or /pcmd, sorry, party command. So party for P and CMD for command. Now these were things that even I didn't know for a long time because I wasn't going around making parties. I was mainly joining them. You can promote someone to leader, you can break up the party, you can kick the party. So I'm going to leave these on the screen for a while, and I'm also going to put them in the description so that you guys know what that's about. But then there's also a thing called level sync, right? So let's say you're playing more than your friend, right? And you've gotten a significant level higher than your friend, but you don't want to stop playing the class you're playing. Let's say you're enjoying the fuck out of excuse me. So let's say you're enjoying the fuck out of Monk. You got Monk to level 50 and your friend hasn't played with you in 2 weeks and they've totally bailed on you, and now they feel like, damn, you're level 50, we can't even play anymore. You can level sync down to their level, right? This is going to be in the party command window, or in the party window, right? So, fuck. Search. I don't think I can make a party with my trust out. Maybe I can and I'm just stupid. Oh no, I can't, see? So, the party window was grayed out, but once you're in a party you can summon trust. So you can kind of fill in the extra slots with the trust or alter egos that you got throughout the game to kind of help fill it out so that it feels more like a party and it doesn't feel like you're really all that alone. So now I can't really show you here, but take my word for it, you'll have an option here called level sync, and it'll let you sync to the level of one of the people in your party. So what's going to happen is it's going to, let's say your friend is level 13 and you're level 50. You want to play with your friend, but you still want to get decent XP, and your friend wants to play with you, but he doesn't want to feel like he's so far behind. So the solution to this is you guys level sync down to his level, and now you're gonna get XP like if you were level 13, and every time he levels up, your party in total levels up and syncs. Now that makes it a lot easier for you to feel like, hey, I don't have to play the class that I don't want to play because you're lower level and catch up with a different job. I can just play what I want. And this was one of the beautiful things about Final Fantasy when it was like in its prime, was the whole level syncing thing. It made partying so much easier because even no matter what level you were, if you were lower level, they were totally going to pick you up and sync to your level so that they got way more XP. And then if you were higher level, they'd still take you because you'd be an efficient body, you'd be an efficient damage dealer or healer or whatever role it was you were playing. So this definitely makes the game a lot easier. So before we close out the video, I had one extra thing to add, just one, about trust. I had forgot. Now that I'm talking about level syncing, I'm going to talk about trust. As you have your trusts out, they will be the level that you are when you have them out. So if you're level 1 and you summon your trust is going to be level 1, and they're going to have level 1 stats. They are not, I repeat, not going to level with you. So every few levels, you're going to want to desummon your trusts. There is a fast way of doing this, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to summon 3 trusts, because that's all you'll be able to have in the beginning anyway. So we're going to summon 3, and then I'm going to show you the command. Oh, I gotta take off my Seek party flag. So I'm going to summon 3 trusts, and I'm going to show you a command that you can use to make them all go away, and then you can resummon them. So you're going to want to do this every, like, let's say 5 levels, maybe even 3 levels, so that they stay in line with your level and they don't become a burden to you for you know, having to wait for them to heal. Because once you sit down, right, or you press the heal button, so if you like press in the left stick so that you can heal, or you press the H on your keyboard so that you can sit down and heal, as you heal, they also heal as if they were sitting down. So my one thing in adding is that you're going to have to desummon your trusts and resummon them as you're out in the world, especially because you're going to get so much more experience than you did back in the past. So it's going, leveling from 1 to 10 isn't going to take forever anymore. You know, it's not going to take you a whole day. It's going to take you, you know, maybe an hour or something like that, or maybe even less, depending on how fast you're going through it, depending on whether or not you picked up, you know, one of the pages at the grounds tome or the field manual, right? So you can, you know, once you get up and you gotta desummon these, like, so you'll get to a safe area and then you'll press the type, so like you'll hit like the space bar to open up your menu, and you'll hit /, which is the question mark key or the slash key, right? And then REFA space ALL, so refa all. When you do that, it desummons all of your trusts. So this way you don't have to pick them, click on them, and release them all one by one. This, for me, was super amazing, especially because later on in the game you're going to have option to have 4 trusts and then 5 trusts, so that you have a full party of 6. So this was pretty much it for my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was as informational as I thought it was going to be. I hope it is as informational now as it should have been 5 months ago or 4 months ago, whenever I was supposed to make the video. I apologize for it being so late. I apologize for the length of the video as well. I know that this video is going to be kind of lengthy. If you guys made it all the way to the end of the video, please, in the comment section below, on YouTube, in the comment section below, leave some ideas for me to cover in the next video, and we'll kind of keep this 101 series going. Will you guys want to see me kind of progress with the second character I made? Do you guys want to see a little bit of that? Do you guys want me to talk about some other stuff to kind of clarify some things that go on in Final Fantasy XI that you may not know, and that, you know, they're not holding your hand and saying, hey, like, you got to come over here to do this and to do that. If so, leave a comment. I do look at all the comments. Don't care when I get them. I will get them on my phone, and I will look at it. And I mean, I even get it at work and stuff like that. So and I try my best to comment right away. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry to those of you who waited a really long time for this video to come out. And since you guys have made it to the end of this video, I'm also going to post 2 videos that I was going to post way back when that I still have on my Twitch. It's going to be of me getting to sky for the first time and of me getting to sea for the first time, and how excited I was when I got there personally for the first time ever in my life. I mean, I've seen plenty of videos, but I've never actually been there myself, so for me I was like super ecstatic. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Hope to see you guys in my stream maybe. If you guys enjoyed this video, you can come check out my stream at twitch.tv/drkyeti. Hope you all have a good day, great day, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next one.